In Afghanistan, a group of army trucks travels to the middle of nowhere to help a convoy that has been stuck on the road for a while. A staff sergeant angrily starts complaining about the waste of time, but this is just a way to tease his brother, who is also a soldier. While the staff sergeant fixes a truck, his brother tells him that they should be on the front lines and that they should join the Army Rangers. At first the staff sergeant isn't interested, but his brother reminds him they made a promise to fight together to change his mind. Suddenly a missile hits a truck, blowing it up and making everyone else fall back. Soon Taliban insurgents are opening fire at the convoy, so the soldiers rush to get their weapons and fire back. Trucks keep blowing up and the staff sergeant runs to try to take cover, but an explosion knocks him out. When he wakes up, he painfully removes a piece of... Every recruit is assigned a number and the staff sergeant gets 81. Because of his record he could be assigned team leader, but he turns it down. Afterward, First Sergeant Torres gives them a speech about what to expect. Training will last 8 weeks and it'll be extremely difficult to test their emotional, physical, and mental strength. If they make it to the final stage, they'll undertake a 24-hour simulated mission known as Death March, which is completed by crossing the finish line. That's the only way to be eligible to be a ranger. The training begins with the classic courses that test how fit and fast they are, although many rangers throw water at them to simulate rain. It's basic army exercises, but at the end of it, several soldiers are still kicked out for failing it. The second round is more exercise. This time it includes working out at night in the rain and staying underwater for long periods of time. As days is medicine, but one night Seven sees him. The next day during a break, Seven guesses the meaning of one of 81's tattoos but doesn't explain how he knows, leaving him confused. The next few training sessions include simulations of rescue missions and combat. The explosions may be fake, but they also bring back 81's nightmares about the incident. For the next underwater exercise, 81 forces himself to keep moving by remembering his brother and his failure to rescue him, not wanting to be that slow ever again. This causes him to stay underwater for too long and he almost drowns, so the other soldiers have to pull him out and give him CPR. Later 81 is waiting outside his superior's office and watches the news, which announces that the asteroid is splitting apart. Experts believe this may be a cluster of smaller interstellar bodies after all. In the office, Torres and Sheridan advise 81 to quit because they're worried about his mental condition. He doesn't socialize and never got therapy after the incident. The sergeants think a ranger tells them it's a private quarry, and if they come across that they're way off course. Eventually the team is dropped off and they immediately hide in the woods. 81 doesn't know how to give a speech, so 7 takes over and shares some inspiring words. The group travels the whole day and only stops at night to rest. While on guard duty, 7 tries to share something personal but 81 doesn't want to hear it. Minutes later, something glowing lands nearby, causing the whole area to tremble. After the initial shock, the team theorizes that it was just artillery fire and they're being punished for resting. 81 decides it's time to keep moving. The next morning the team sees an aircraft across the stream. It's not a normal model, so they think the Rangers put extra effort into the special effects. 81 starts making a plan, but a soldier interrupts to point out that this aircraft isn't on the coordinates they were given. Through the woods, the robot keeps firing at them from the stream. It brings down trees and kills several men. Eventually the team is cornered on the edge of a cliff and the robot throws a bomb at them. It explodes in front of them and throws them down the cliff, causing them to get severely hurt as they crash into trees or rocks. A man lands on top of a branch that pierces his chest, while another one breaks his spine on a rock. When 81 lands, he remembers losing the whole convoy during the incident and the images keep getting mixed with his current injured team. To snap out of it, 81 grabs his broken fingers and realigns them. Afterward 81 covers the mouth of a screaming 109, reminding him not to give away their position. Together they remove the pierced soldier from the branch and 81 leaves 109 tending the wound before checking on 7, whose leg is wounded. Everyone is confused by what happened but is going crazy, which means the robot is near. Suddenly the machine appears on top of the cliff and opens fire, causing 7 to crash on the ground and killing the other guy, whose torn body falls nearby. The team sticks to the wall as much as possible while the robot scans the area. Unfortunately the laser catches one of their legs, so the 6 remaining soldiers have to start running again. 7 is being carried and screams when he sees the incoming explosive shot by the robot. The team runs as fast as possible as the explosives go off around them, causing them to fall over and over. They never give up and keep on moving until they manage to leave the forest, out of the robot's reach. On an open grassland, they finally stop to rest. The team discusses theories about what's happening while 81 tries to bandage 7's leg, but he freezes at the sight of the blood. 7 comforts him with gentle words, helping him snap out of it. Unfortunately their medicine fell during the attack, so 81 has to adjust the bone without it and says to go back to fix it. In the struggle, one of the stretcher's knots opens and now it's only hanging from one side. 81 and 44 decide to climb from opposite sides to keep balance and together they grab 15 to help him keep up the stretcher. Since everyone is distracted, they don't see the compass malfunctioning again. Soon the robot appears and scans the area before opening fire, causing the whole team to fall into the water. The currents push everyone except for 81, whose leg is stuck on a rope. The robot steps into the water too and gets ready to shoot 81, who quickly cuts the rope with his knife to escape just in time. Whenever the robot shoots, 81 hides underwater to be safe. Nearby 7 is floating away on the stretcher, so 81 swims toward him to catch him. The currents are still too strong though, so they throw everyone down the waterfall. 81 makes sure to swim to grab 7 again, only to pass out. Minutes later the team finds themselves on the shore. It turns out they were saved by 60, who explains he was blown into the rapids during the first robot attack. He thought everyone was dead, so he traveled until he saw the survivors coming down the waterfall. After seeing another body in the water, 81 explains that after the incident, he didn't make it back to the base. He woke up in a hospital and his brother was already in a box on a plane. Doctors told him that he passed out 100 yards from the perimeter, so his brother died because 81 couldn't last a little longer. He thinks the medal only signifies the worst day in his life. 81 understands everyone's feelings, but this isn't about them anymore. They need to return to the base to warn the world about the alien threat. At first 15 can only stare at how everyone is inspired by 81's words and rush to help. The tank still won't start, so 15 decides to finally jump in and uses his mechanic knowledge to get the tank going. The guys use a rope to pull the tank out of the debris, and the shaking opens a compartment with some food that 44 immediately shares. At that moment a flare appears in the sky and the team realizes that the robot must have stepped on the trap. Everyone rushes to get in. This is because the robot is now above them. It jumps off the cliff and lands in front of the tank to shoot a powerful laser beam. 44 manages to dodge it, however the robot starts chasing them again. The guys fire back at it with any weapon they can find, but it's still useless and 109 ends up losing an arm in the process. The robot then shoots the laser beam again and 44 tries her best to dodge it, but the tank still loses half its armor. 7 suddenly slips out and 81 grabs the stretcher's rope to keep it close, however another shot from the robot makes him lose it and 7 falls on the road. 81 then shoots at the mountain to cause a landslide that buries the robot. At that moment, the tank explodes. Another nightmare shows the brothers on the ground and 81 hearing his sibling telling him not to quit. Then 81 wakes up and searches hiding 7, 81 rushes to the private quarry where he finds dynamite, a flare gun, and a remote that controls the rock carrier. The robot soon enters the forest and almost finds 7, however 81 shoots the flare and the robot goes to the quarry instead. As soon as it arrives at the quarry, the dynamites blow up and make the robot collapse. Then 81 comes out in a bulldozer and pushes the robot to trap it, causing it to overheat inside. As a last desperate attempt, the robot shoots down a tower that falls on top of the bulldozer, but thankfully 81 jumps out just in time. The overheating then causes the robot to blow up, triggering a chain of explosions thanks to the hidden dynamite. The robot collapses and finally shuts down, but its compartment accidentally opens and explosives fall out. 81 runs as fast as possible and manages to leave the quarry right before the flames activate those bombs and gathering to make a plan, and allied forces of all kinds are teaming up. 81 tells Sheridan about the robot's ventilation system being the weak spot and the information is immediately sent to every country. Sheridan says this intel will save lives and officially welcomes 81 as a ranger. Afterward 81 gives a speech for the ranger team before they all leave together in the helicopters, ready to fight. When he falls asleep, he dreams about a bonding moment with his brother instead of the usual nightmares.